Hello, everybody. Hello, good evening. Buongiorno. Hello, and welcome to Roue Libre, or Freewheeling in English, the talk show. It's live with you. You can watch on Facebook. You can watch on the Inside Me Sports YouTube channel and on Horizon TV Sports, a platform where more than 2 million viewers and users are watching us all the time. Today, we've got a very special show. We're leaving the two wheels of the road and cycling, and we're talking about other disciplines, not just with cycling, but also we're talking about rally as well. We're staying with wheels, but this time we're going all the way to four. We have four fantastic guests with us for this evening's show. We've got four young people, but already some real legends of their various sports. This evening, we're going to get to know Loic Bruni, 4 times champion of the world in downhill and also one winner of a World Cup. Martin Maes is with us as well, undisputable champion of enduro, but also a real legend in downhill himself. And also he's got a World Cup medal to defend this season when it gets started. And Erik Cais is here, just 20 years old, an ex-downhill rider, but now he has moved over to rally, and we'll be talking to him about the four wheels of the crazy world of the drivers as well. So thank you so much for joining us. We've got such a lot to talk about this evening. And first of all, let's start by talking with Loic Bruni, and we're going to have a quick look at a little clip of him before we get to know him a bit better.
Wow.
Loic, hi, good evening. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. It's a great honor to have you with us. It's your birthday tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm 26 years old. I'm getting old.
You're definitely not getting old, that's for sure. Happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank you, man.
Let's talk a little bit about your introduction into the sport, because your dad as well is a multiple champion, isn't he? So you, I guess, with your family, did you ever have an option other than to go into the sport you went into?
Yeah. Actually, my dad forced me into other sports than biking when I was young. He wanted me to try everything before I actually chose what I liked. And he made me do basketball, wrestling, judo, and maybe running. And I didn't like any of these. And biking was kind of the best feeling I could find. So yeah, I went to downhill, and I think Martin actually has a really competitive dad too in mountain bike. So it's funny.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's lots of things that all three of you have in common today, actually, and we're going to talk more with Martin and with Erik later on as well. But all of us, of course, are in confinement, in isolation in our houses. So tell us a little bit what it's been like for you, Loic, because I know you're in France and the lockdown has been quite severe there.
Yeah, actually, it's been free for 1 day now. We've been a little bit more able to go out and stuff without having to respect the 1 kilometer rule. So it's been pretty tough having the World Cup season canceled pretty much 1 week before we will actually go to Portugal and race. So we were already all super fit. The bike were ready to go, and we last minute we had the decision from the UCI and the Portugal to postpone Lusa. So it was a big disappointment, big frustration. But I guess it's the same for every sport. Even bigger sports than us, like soccer and stuff, had a lot of issues with the virus. So yeah, it was it sucks for everyone. I think it was really shit, just to say the least. And it was it was a lesson, and we could do some other things. And definitely not the best year so far, but I would say we are going in the right direction now. So I hope we won't have any problems now.
Yeah, it's interesting that the UCI has already announced their new timetable for road cycling, but
Yeah.
there's still nothing announced yet for you guys.
Well, I think they have priorities, and all of their decisions and politics, they always choose the more profitable one first, and I think road bike is the biggest for them. So we'll come. I think Friday we have the new schedule official. So we're not so bad. Officially, we didn't get anything confirmed yet, but unofficially, we know that we might have 5 World Cup rounds and maybe World Champs. So we still will have a season that will be from September to end of October. So pretty optimistic, and yeah, we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, we'll see on Friday.
Interesting for you in particular, Loic, because last season you had such a great year. You achieved, I guess, almost all your objectives as well. Did that make it, do you think, especially difficult for you because you've just put a stop on what looked to be an incredible progression, just getting better and better and better?
Yeah, it's pretty. I was a bit mixed feelings between uh, relief that I would not have to go and defend my title, and sad that I could not carry on the momentum from 2019. So it was a bit of a. One day I was pumped up, like, yeah, I have more time to get ready, and some other days I was like, fuck, I'm actually losing a lot of level right now because I could see some Americans riding, UK people riding. It was not fair. Didn't feel it super fair. So it was a bit of a moody period for me. But yeah, I think we all have to settle down, and now we have a fresh start for the end of the season, which is the actual start of the season. So it's gonna take a bit of a time to go progressively to the level, and it'll be cool. A good challenge. Good challenge.
We're going to compare everybody's life in isolation a little bit, but Erik is in the Czech Republic. We've got Martin in Denmark as well. Sorry, not in Denmark. Martin. Where are you, Martin? Actually, in Belgium. Sorry,
From Belgium.
Martin's in Belgium as well. So everybody's situation is slightly different. But Loic, I know that you've been stuck inside in France. So let's have a little look at what it's been like for you trying to train in this period of confinement.
The French president said it. We are at war.
Okay, so this is pretty funny, Loic. Can you tell us a little bit about this video, why you made it, and yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, so actually I was lucky enough to made a gym at my parents' house 2 years ago, so I could do some good training there. And I just felt like a lot of people were doing, like, there was a lot of things to do, but not many people were doing content on social media. So I had time, and I was trying to make some fun stuff, some fun videos. And actually the video with the champagne is for a sponsor that we have, so they wanted kind of a cool moment where you were training and keep the motivation high and having a little bit of celebration even alone at home. So yeah, I tried to keep everyone stoked on life, even though it sucked a bit at the time. And yeah, I think I had fun doing it, so I liked it.
We've got a message for you as well, Luke, from Louise, who says, a great video. You're still number one.
Thank you.
Actually, interesting. You are still number one, but Martin Maes was number two in at least one race just behind you last season. Hi, Martin.
Hi, everyone.
Martin, thanks so much for being with us. We're going to have a good chat with Martin and get to know how his isolation is going as well. This year in the calendar of both downhill and enduro, we have a great star in Martin Maes. So let's see a little video of his career so far.
Wins his first ever World Cup. What an incredible rider he is.
Hey, some great memories there, Martin, and a really great example for all of our viewers of what it's actually like to be on the bike when you're coming downhill or doing enduro there. Can you tell us a little bit what it's been like for you being in isolation compared to Loic? Because Loic has been very much shut inside completely, whereas it's different in Belgium, right?
Yeah, it was totally different in Belgium, actually. So everything was shut, obviously, but we were still able to go outside and ride our bikes, which I think makes a huge difference for us, especially mentally, you know. So yeah, it's been quiet, but at the same time, I enjoy spending time with my family and I try to get, you know, kind of positive out of any situation, and you know, this is what I did for this isolation. Switch off a little bit from training and still ride my bike a lot and having fun. We obviously needed to be careful once on the bike because, you know, hospital were full, but yeah, just been quiet. I bought a house in January, so there was quite a bit of renovation to be done. So I've been focused and I spent a lot of time in the house, and you know, it was good to learn something new for sure.
How difficult is it to try to maintain the form and the momentum that you would build up when you have to stop, like you have to stop now, when you have to look forward as well to the season commencing, but we don't know when and we don't know how? How difficult is it in your mind to do that?
Yeah, well, pretty much like Loic said, you know, we were all ready and the bikes were ready. We were about to go in Colombia, but you know, this is life, and we have to accept this challenge in front of us, I guess. And it is a bit frustrating, but at the same time, you know, all of my friends and my family is healthy, so. You know, I can't complain. You know, it's like I said, I try to get positive out of any situation, and this one, you know, I was able to, you know, focus a little bit more on myself, because you know, our life is just about, you know, racing and training, and sometimes you kind of forget the essential. And like I say, it was kind of good to, you know, switch off from the routine of training and racing, traveling. You know, it's been 8 years that, you know, I travel so much, spend so much time on the plane. You know, it was kind of good to have a break, I guess.
Now, because you have been able to train outside a little bit more, and Loic, do you think when the season does start again, and as Loic said, we have hopefully an announcement on Friday about that, do you think you have an advantage over some of the other guys who have been shut indoors much more? Should Loic be more scared than he was before even?
Well, to start with, you need to have an advantage when you're racing against Loic. So I hope this will be my advantage this time. But no, I think Loic's got plenty of time in front of him to restart training and restart riding his bike as well, you know. And we won't be racing, I think, before September. So that's you know, that's a lot of months in front of him to get back in shape and get some confidence back on his bike.
And tell us a little bit about what your objectives will be once the season does start, Martin, because it's not just downhill for you, it's enduro as well.
Yeah, it is mainly enduro. You know, I've been so focused on the title the last few years, and downhill was not such a big focus for me. But I still like to to compete. Sorry, and I like the downhill as well. But you know, last year in Mont-Saint-Anne, I've realized I needed to spend so much more time on my bike, and my team needed to be much more focused on the way my bike feels. Because these days in downhill, it is so important to have the bike ready and 100% dialed. So, you know, I don't want to participate. I don't want to compete in downhill if I'm not 100% ready, because first of all, I feel like it's kind of dangerous, and you know there is no point. My goal is, you know, to win or to be ready 100% at every race, and if I'm not, I won't be enjoying myself for sure.
Okay, so your concentration is not 100% on downhill. In fact, your concentration really is almost 100% in enduro, but you still managed to finish second place in the World Championships in 2018. Loic, for you see Martin here, who's the best in the world maybe at enduro. He was second to you in the downhill, but he doesn't want to concentrate on downhill, but he still has he's brave enough to race against you in downhill. Why are you not brave enough to race against him in enduro as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I think it's incredible what he's done in 18. He won actually a World Cup 2 weeks before the World Champs and got second at the World Champs. So it was a super big end of the season for him. And last year he did also 2 races, and it was not as easy because I think he had not as much time on the bike and stuff. And if I want to go enduro, like he said, it's too hard now to go between disciplines and be competitive on every aspect, because each level is getting so high that you cannot be at the top in downhill, at the top in enduro, at the top at anything. So far, if I go race enduro, I know I don't have the level physically first. I don't have the training for it, and I don't have the time on the bike. I don't have the bike, the tires. Like it takes so much time to come to a proper preparation that I'm not even top 40 in enduro. So I might be one of the fastest on the day. Like if you take all the enduro riders, I might be one of the fastest, but on all the stages on one day, they're going to be way more consistent and way more fast and fit. So they're going to smash me, and yeah, it's not my style. And for sure, I'm not as good as Martin.
I mean, it is very impressive what Martin is doing, both with the 2 different types of racing. But there's somebody here, maybe even more impressive than that, who's not just racing on 2 different races on 2 wheels. Erik was a downhill racer, and now he's on 4 wheels with Rally as well. Let's say hello to Erik Cais. Hi, Erik. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, everybody. Pleasure to meet you.
Erik, I know that it's been a real honor for you to meet Loic as well. I think you met him, you said, a few years ago as well, because he was something of an idol to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great for me that when I was the downhill rider, I really want to be with Loic on some interview, and now it's real. But I'm not a downhill driver. I'm in rally car, and that's probably absolutely the best for me. So yeah, dream comes true.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Erik, before we carry on our conversation, let's have a little look at you in action. It's amazing to see you, Erik, in action there. Now, for a lot of people watching this broadcast, maybe we're bike fans, maybe we're cycling fans, maybe people won't understand exactly what it's like to be in the cockpit, to be a pilot in a rally car. Can you explain to us what's the difference, the big differences in terms of mentality and physicality between being on 2 wheels and on 4 wheels now?
I think the biggest thing is that you are not alone, because on the bicycle, it's just you on the bike, and everything what you do, it's from your mind. Here, in this car, it's you and your co-driver. You are listening to the co-driver who is like speaking about the pace notes. I don't know if somebody know what is pace notes, but it's what the co-driver tells you, and you know where is the road going. So that's I think the biggest thing. In the mentality, everything is, the speed is highest, but on the bike, you are really close to trees. And so your head, it's okay if somebody is like going fast near to you. In the car, everything it's a little bit next to you. So the speed it's more high, but I think for eyes and for head, it's okay, because on the bike you are going also so fast. So it's really similar, but it's only on 4 wheels, and yeah, for sure the speed is really high, and you are listening to the co-driver. You are not alone.
Tell us what it's been like for you, because in the Czech Republic, what has the lockdown, the isolation been like, and how's it been for your training? What are you able to do, and what can you not do that you would usually do?
Usually what I will now do, probably now I will be on some rally, but now, like you said, we are locked down. But in Czech Republic, it's okay that I can test. So in this car, I had 4 tests. So it's okay that I can try the setup on the car and everything. But yeah, now I have more time for biking and for everything. So now I spend a lot of time on my bike, if it's pump track or enduro. So that's really great. But yeah, I'm really focusing also on car. So yeah, I can test, and that's the most important thing for me.
I know that you already said that that Loic was one of your heroes as a cyclist, as a mountain biker too. But you're not the first guy who's come from downhill to rally, are you? Because Nicolas Villiers has also been there. Would his success in his career be something that you would aim for?
Yeah. Nicolas Villiers is absolutely legend, also on the bicycle, also in the rally. But I think he is not only one, like you said. We can get focused on Brandon Semenuk. Brandon Semenuk really liked the rally, and in his country he spent a lot of time with cars. So yeah, I think the community on the bicycle and in cars, that's really close one, and I think everyone in the rally car like what Loic and Martin do, and I think Loic and Martin like what I do. So yeah, it's really close, and everybody like what each other do.
Loic, I guess Nicolas Villiers might be a bit of a hero to you as well, because actually his success was pretty massive in downhill, right?
Yeah, for sure. Nicolas, and he was French, so for us, he was a massive example. And
Hey, he can't be perfect, huh? He can't have everything.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. He had everything. He was even French, man. So yeah, it was inspiring, and he was successful on 2 wheels. And when he took a steering wheel, he was also incredible, because he was so pointy on the setups and the lines. So it was incredible. And like Erik said, it's true. We have a few sports that we really, I don't know about Martin, but I'm sure he's similar to me. There's a few sports that a downhill guy or a mountain bike guy will like, and it's motocross, enduro, and rally cars. Like, it's something that we understand kind of, with the drift, the speed, and the sensation I think it gives. And yeah, it's something a bit close, and we can relate a bit to their skills, I would say. Even though if I take Erik's car, I will go. If he goes reverse, he goes faster than me. But it's fun, I think, to cross worlds like this.
Martin, you want to come back a little bit on those comments about the different sports and the similarities and the heroes and the differences too?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with Loic. I'm a big rally fan as well. I follow all the WRC and other rally in the world, and I like driving myself. But it's such a shame that rally cars are so expensive.
That's not a problem. Erik has like 5 there. I'm sure he can spare one, right?
Oh yeah, if you have
No
one
problem.
spare car, Erik, I'm keen to get one.
Martin, actually, interesting. Martin, do you reckon the way that you ride a bike changes the way that you drive a car? Even though you're not a professional driver, you're a professional rider. Do you reckon having that mentality of just being all or nothing, like health or leather, do you reckon do you have to check yourself when you get behind the wheel of a car on a normal road to go to the shops or something?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I you know, like Loic say as well, it's very similar in terms of, you know, braking, turning, having the grip where you need to in different condition. There are, we facing as well as an enduro rider. We are training at 2 days before the race. So sometimes we have bone dry training, and 2 days after it's raining a lot the day of the race. So we have to adapt to those conditions, and this is what a rally driver has to adapt as well. It's different kind of terrain, different kind of condition through the days, and also the amount of cars that they have in front of them before the stages. So like Loic says, there is a lot of things that we can relate into those two sports, and yeah, it is very interesting. And to answer your question, I feel like it is very different, but at the same time, there are wheels, and wheels are always turning the same direction. So I wouldn't say that I could be a rally driver, but I feel like you feel it. You feel it maybe a little bit better than other people.
Yeah, that's why we've got this. That's why we've got this show, the Roue Libre, because we want to talk about 2 wheels, 4 wheels. Maybe even more for some of the desert rally stuff as well. And that's why we think people are interested in everything, of all the sports that involve wheels. So it's interesting that you guys think that too. Loic, we've talked a little bit about expecting the new calendar on Friday. What do you hope for?
Well, that's an easy question, because I hope for races. I hope for a proper championship, because we've been waiting 2 months with nothing, and we didn't have so much information from the UCI. So actually, the industry is also struggling with budgets and stuff. So I, as a rider and part of a big structure, I hope that we have some races so we can justify like some money. We can go with most of the friends, because we are good friends with most of the riders. We can go meet and do what we like, and we can just keep living the crazy lucky life we have. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult, because that coronavirus thing is way beyond what we are doing, so we can't control it. But if we can manage to do a few races and get some good times together, at least at the September, October, I'll be pumped up, and the year will be saved, because so far it's a disaster.
Yeah, it's a disaster, but it's going to come along, of course. We have a question from Facebook. Louise Levesque has sent in a question for you, Erik. It says, how did you make the switch from cycling to rally when he crashed and broke a collarbone in 4 places as well? After your big crash, how did you make that change?
Yeah, it was the day when I had 18th birthday. I was in Slovakia for a training for some changes on bike, and I crashed and I broke this bone. And at hospital, for me, first for me, the cycling was really great. But I always want to do rally. But my dad said, no, you will go to cycling to see what is the hard spot, and he don't want that I will be a rally driver. So back to training. At training, I broke the collarbone. And at hospital, I said to my dad, "Okay, I'm absolutely finished with the bicycle. I want to try the car." And he said, "Okay, let's try the car." And in first car, it was Citroën Saxo. I absolutely destroyed the engine because I wanted something what the engine don't want to. And step by step, I go to R2. I won some races in Czech Republic. We tried to go to European Championship, and in my second year in my career, I finished like vice champion in front wheel drive. So for this year, I'm in the biggest car in Europe. What you can drive, and it's R5. It's this one. So yeah, it's really challenging for me. So this is my story how I go to rally.
Thanks, Erik. In fact, we've got a question as well for Loic from Nicola Loth on Facebook, I guess, as well. She wants to know whether you ever thought about going into rally as well, Loic, either now or maybe at the end of your career. Will you change? Will you race against Erik?
Oui, I think Nicola Loh is an ex-former enduro rider. No, right, Martin? I think.
Yeah.
So
if it's the same, Nicolo.
Yeah, if it's the same. Yeah. But yeah, I've been sometimes thinking about what other sport I would like to do, and I think rally is amazing, but I don't have enough skills. I'm sorry, and the talent has to be. There is work you can do, but if the talent is there, it's easier. And for me, rally car, I think I don't have the talent. So unfortunately, so far I didn't have the opportunity to try and maybe do some tests and see if my times are good. But I don't think I have what it takes. But yeah, I don't know what I would do, but I would like to give it a try for sure. Because every time I see like some nice roads and I'm trying to go fast, I love it. But I'm also super scared, so I don't know.
So you say you don't have the skills, but really what you mean is you don't have the balls, right?
Yeah, maybe it comes to the ball too. I don't know, Erik, what he says, but for sure, when you brake in the last second before a massive turn and you're coming 130 and it's like this, it takes a bit of big balls, but maybe I need to grow them and I'll go for a lap.
Martin, have you ever thought about what you might do if you couldn't race on the bike?
No. Once again, what Loic say, I totally agree with. You know, you need to have the talent to express your skills, and I think I've only got one talent, is riding my bike. So if I wasn't riding my bike, I don't know what I would be. Maybe a gardener, or I like to spend a lot of time outside and work hard physically. So yeah, I guess maybe I would be a gardener.
That's good. I mean, I'm sure we can find you lots of work, no problem at the moment. We have a question as well from a fan of road cycling. Let's start with Martin. We'll stay with you. So Christian Chambry, he wants to know whether you guys follow road cycling, and if so, whether you have an idol, a hero in road cycling. We'll start with Martin.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like following the Tour. You know, living in Belgium, there is a lot of classics as well, which you know, some of the classic of Liège-Bastogne-Liège is actually 10 minutes from my house. So I usually go and see them. Road cyclist going up that hill, and I try to repeat that time, but I can't. But if I have any idols, I don't know. Someone like Philippe Gilbert is from Belgium. He grew up actually 10 minutes from my house. So if I had to pick one, it would be Philippe Gilbert for what he's done over his career, and also the person he is himself. He seems like I've never met him, but he seems like a very good guy.
Erik, how about you? Do you watch road cycling at all?
I'm not watching the road cycling, but if I will say one name, it will be Peter Sagan, for sure.
Well, Peter Sagan, of course, a mountain biker as well. Loic, I know that you watch a lot of road cycling. I guess there's some people interested in road cycling in France too. Maybe there's a race there that people have heard of. Do you have any heroes from road cycling?
Yeah, for sure. I watched a lot of road cycling because it's super interesting the way they have a teamwork and stuff. I think it's really like it. If you get interested in the sport, there's so much more than just watching them pedal. So it's I like it. And as a French guy, there's so many really good French people, but the current one is Alaphilippe is crazy, crazy skills and a lot of personality. So I really like the man. But I watched the Movistar thing, and I really enjoyed watching what Mikel Landa was doing too. Uh, there's so much stuff going on with their own interest and the team interest and stuff, and I feel like being a good road cyclist also have to be generous with your team. So I like Mikel Landa, and yeah, I don't know.
Do you think you guys miss that because your sport is very individual, whereas road cycling, like Loic says, is an individual sport but in a team? Martin, do you miss having teammates around you to work with?
Uh, uh, I don't know. I've never done any. I've never had any teammate racing enduro downhill. You know, it's a very personal sport. Obviously, you have the team, the mechanic, which are very important to your success. But at the end of the day, when you start the stage or the downhill run, you are by yourself. So and I like to share. I like to be with people, but I don't know if I would like to share it as much as a cycling team. The work that is involved inside the team. So no, I like my sport because it's individual and you. You know, you're just by yourself. If you fucked up, it's yourself, and if you succeed, it's yourself as well, and the team involved, for sure.
I guess, Eric, it's a bit different for you because you were racing completely on your own with downhill, but now, like you talked about already, it's a very small team, you and the co-pilot, but there's two of you, so you understand both a little bit.
Yeah, it's not so small team because you need to talk also to engineers, also to mechanics, also to everybody in that area. Because if you are going alone to your races, around 15 people is going with you, like engineers, mechanics, catering, and everything. So I think it's this sport. It's maybe more with team than the cycling. But I think also Loic know what is data because they are spending a lot of time with data on his bike with his mechanic, what I see, and that's the absolutely point in car because everything what you know can be just feeling, but from data you know absolutely everything about the car, how it's working, and this stuff, and that's know the engineer. So you need to spend a lot of time with your team to get to know what the car is doing and every this stuff. So I think the sport it's more about the team, not only driver and co-driver.
Eric, at the moment you're racing in the European Rally Championship 3, which is for younger drivers. Can you tell us a bit about the progression between the classes and what your next few years will hopefully be like?
Now I'm not in ERC3. Now I'm in ERC1 Junior because I switched the cars to better car, to R5. But yeah, like you said, last year I was in ERC3. It's about the car. It's not about the age. The car in ERC3 are R2. It's front wheel drive, not so much power. In ERC1 it's R5, whereas four-wheel drive and the power of the car and torque and everything, it's absolutely unbelievable. So it's only up to car in this positions.
And so what would the progression be from now?
The progression will be that in ERC1 there are more better drivers, and it's going more close to WRC because we are in Europe only about budget. If will be budget to start in WRC with this car, we will for sure will start there. But I think for me the European Championship is really great to growing up. So I want to grow up in ERC, what is the European Championship, and after that switch to WRC.
Okay, let's finish up, guys, pretty soon. But just before we finish, I'm going to ask each of you the same question. We'll start with Loic. Loic, can you tell me, once the season starts again, what are your hopes and objectives for you personally, not just for the sport, but for you personally, by the time this season finishes, however we might see that season finish?
Can you repeat that question? I did not understand.
Yeah, sure. Once the season starts again, it's going to be a shorter season, more compact. But what are your objectives personally? What do you hope to have achieved by the end?
Well, yeah, when the season starts, if it does, I really want to catch up things where in the US. So we had a really good battle with another French guy for the overall title, and I really want to stay at the top, in the top positions, and fight for the win on many races. But for sure, it's going to be a weird year, a weird season, because it's going to be all compact in maybe 2 months. We're going to have the whole season in 2 months, and it's going to be so different than what we are used to, and I'm not super confident on how I can deal with this. So I need to prepare, but for sure I want to win some races, and there is World Championships to defend too. So Leogang is a really good place for that. So if I can win something, I'm happy.
Thanks, Loic. Same question for you, Martin.
Yeah, my main goal is the EWS championship, obviously, and hopefully the season starts. It's September, and the plan is to have 6 races through September, October, and November, which is not too bad, because we usually have between 8 and 9 races. So the goal remained the same. Going for the Enduro World Series title, and hopefully I can join Loic in Leogang for the World Championship in downhill. It's a very pedally course, and kind of flowy as well. So I have maybe I give it a try.
No,
Okay, we look forward to seeing that.
I think Martin should focus on enduro a bit and leave the downhill for 1 year.
We will see. We will see.
We would all love to see that. There's no doubt. How about you, Erik?
For me, it will be waiting for Loic starts to rally, also Martin. No, just kidding. But for me, my goal is to go to a fight with big boys in the European Championship and say hello, I'm Erik, and I'm here by my results. So that's my goal for this year.
Good luck with that, Erik, and I'm no doubt at all that the big guys will know that you're around. Martin and Loic and Erik, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you guys at home as well for watching. And I know that all 4 of us, and especially the 3 athletes here, will really be hoping that you'll be able to watch them in action very soon. Keep your eyes peeled on Friday, when the UCI should be announcing their renewed calendar after this horrible period of isolation, when all of us are so desperate to watch all these guys racing, and I'm sure we'll be able to do so very soon indeed. Erik, thank you very much. Loic, thank you. Martin, thank you as well. And hopefully we'll see you all very soon indeed. Stay safe, stay home, wash your hands, and get back on your bike as soon as you can.
See ya.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.